And so we begin our descent into the seventh level of hell. See what I did? See what I did there?
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, that's a good episode title.
Let's just start. Let's just get into that.
Yeah. I suppose, trigger warning, we're going to talk about a real piece of shit.
Also, trigger warning, we're going to talk about religion. Wait. Before we go, what does CW mean? Not the TV show, which I think Seventh Heaven actually went on to after the WB, or vice versa. I see it on Twitter a lot. It's like a trigger warning. I don't know what it means.
CW.
I've never seen any posts say TW, like a sexual assault. Like, when someone's talking about some subject, I always see CW.
Is it Chomo warning?
Who's Chomo?
Chomo is like, child molester.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not in those circles, so I'm not familiar with the shorthand.
I don't think that's what it means, because Chomo is a very backwards, long ago style term there. I don't think it's commonly used anymore. Let me just get on Urban Dictionary real quick. Chomo is slang for child molester, regardless if the person is questionable. Regardless if the person is in question, there's a huge typo there. Holy crap. Is a pedophile or not. When used as warning, it's because that someone is believed to be an actual pedophile, while as an insult, it's for anyone who spends time with kids when they shouldn't be.
Okay, cool.
It's also
so
name of several mountains in the Himalayas.
Sick.
No, I do not know what CW is. I don't know that I've ever seen that.
All right. Well, it's probably not worth looking into.
Probably not.
Anyway, let's delete all that. Let's go back and focus on Seventh Heaven, because I tried to go into a deep dive because that guy, Bruce Mathis, he came up and I knew he was familiar, and he seemed like the perfect person to cast as that role.
Yeah, an amazing casting decision at the time.
But I need you to tell me more about the dark side.
Yeah, I don't really have that much information about it. I remember it happening because I think it came out in 2014 that he had sexually abused, I don't know if it was one person several times or several people. I think he admitted to 3 inappropriate interactions. I guess and it's also a bit weird how the audio leaked, because the audio was from his marriage counseling session with his wife at the time.
Okay.
And so I listened to part of it, and
nice.
He's just like, and then in 1978, I was involved in 1, 2, 3. And she's like, 3? You told me it was 2. Or, it was new to her too. I guess she had known maybe about a little bit of it, but 1978, someone filed a police report about it, and I guess they didn't get anywhere. And it got brought back up again in 2012, but then there's still weren't charges brought for whatever reason. It seems like he exposed himself to a child under the age of 14. And it says that there are 3 dates or 3 years listed: 1973, 1982, and 1994. So that probably means that he did a lot more than that, but that's all we know.
Right, those are documented cases.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I never really watched Seventh Heaven. I knew about it enough to know that it was very ironic that it was him. And that's really all I know.
I guess when I see him, I think of a religious person who's overly nice, blah, blah, blah. But did they cast him because he was supposed to be that person? Or is that literally just a person he plays on TV?
I don't know. On his Wikipedia, it says that he's Episcopalian, but I don't know. I don't know how religious he is.
Right.
It seems like he's just got the face of a Christian American guy.
Talk about an Episcopalian nightmare.
But he's really into transcendental meditation.
Okay, all right.
Which is the link. The link that I sent you was from recent. He's married to a woman who is 40 years younger than him, and they live in some little town in Iowa. and they're very active in the TM community.
That's interesting because isn't transcendental meditation, isn't that big in LA as well?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Well, it's not easy getting into heaven, you know?
Right. Yeah, David Lynch, the David Lynch Foundation. David Lynch is really into TM.
Oh, okay.
As is Mike Love of the Beach Boys, or whatever you want to call the Beach Boys now.
Right.
So apparently it attracts real assholes. And I'm not calling David Lynch an asshole, but Mike Love and Stephen Collins are definitely assholes.
I feel like you could go out on a limb and call Mike Love an asshole. It's probably true, right?
I already did call Mike Love an asshole.
Oh, sorry, David Lynch.
David Lynch, I don't know, man. I want to like him. I want to think that he's not an asshole. He's probably difficult to work with.
Unsurprisingly, I don't know who that is.
David Lynch is the director of Twin Peaks.
Okay.
Eraserhead.
I was gonna guess that.
One of the Dune movies.
The good one?
Mulholland Drive. Yeah, he's a real the good one. I've never seen it, but I don't think it's considered to be good.
Okay. Well, I never understood Twin Peaks. I never understood the appeal.
Oh, well, I was going to say most people probably don't understand it. I think that if you're talking about the appeal, that's probably where a lot of the fans would disagree with you.
It's a very culty thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's intentionally obtuse. It's weird for the sake of being weird, from my perspective. But I did enjoy like the original run.
Right.
I never saw the return, but I've heard both good and bad.
I think I like one of the actors, but also whenever I think of Twin Peaks, I think of Northern Exposure. Does that seem weird?
That's awesome. Why? What's the connection there?
For some reason, I think they're similar. So they're probably on the opposite ends of the spectrum, like complete polar opposites.
Yeah.
But also kind of similar. I don't know. It's like, I guess I just think of them as like a weird Seinfeld-esque thing where nothing happens or I can't figure out what the point is, but they're in totally like opposite directions.
The like cutesy, small...
folksy small town, yeah.
Northern town. I guess that kind of makes sense.
It all takes place in like one, I don't know, spot.
Yeah. Well,
I see a lot of knotty pine, like wood cabin interiors.
You have eccentric locals.
Yeah, everything's like weird, like backwards, like kind of, or backwoods. It's a little awkward, and it's a little like if you jump in for 5 minutes, you're not going to understand the point at all.
Right. Well, Northern Exposure, I think you might be able to understand a little better than Twin Peaks. How far did you get into Twin Peaks?
I don't know. I've seen it. I don't know. I've seen it like regularly over the past 20 plus years. Not regularly, like every month, but like,
you think you've seen the entire
I will say
series,
no. I'm not going to say that I've seen all, 2 seasons full front to back.
Yeah.
So I may be missing, but I don't know. It's just like Northern Exposure didn't seem like a normal sitcom with like laughs. It was just kind of like character building, and you kind of had to like get into it and understand people, and it was just slower moving, I guess, than most sitcoms.
Right. Is that even considered a sitcom? I haven't seen it in so long that I don't remember.
I don't remember any drama, so I don't...
There was no laugh track. Yeah. Maybe it was slightly elevated above normal sitcoms.
Right. Like, I don't know. The director was probably like trying to do something and I didn't understand. Same thing with Twin Peaks.
Have you ever seen that video of the composer talking about the theme and how David Lynch, he was showing it? Oh my God. I'll send you this video after this, but there's this incredible video of Angelo Badalamenti, whatever his name is, where he's playing the theme for the show, which is like the most beautiful piece of music. And he's talking while he's playing it, and he was like, and then David said, "Now more mysterious here. There's Laura is being drawn away by the fog," and he's basically like narrating it as himself and as David Lynch, and it's really, really great. It's really good.
And I would go, and he said, "Oh, that's it. Oh, that's so beautiful, Angelo. Oh, that's tearing my heart out. I love that. Just keep that going. Now, she's starting to leave. So fall down. Keep falling. Keep falling. Keep falling. Now go back. back into the dark woods.
Anyways, I guess we should talk about Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You want to do the intro this time? Because I did it the last couple times.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness another episode of the shittiest podcast known throughout the galaxy. It is always Stockholm in Los Angeles. Was that a good one?
That was great. Today we are talking about Season 2, Episode 10, the season finale of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Dennis and Dee get a new dad.
New dad, new dad, new dad, new dad. Sometimes I wish I had... I'm just kidding. My dad's awesome.
Your dad is awesome.
He's super cool. Do you ever think that you were adopted or your father was cuckolded?
No. I think I act too much like my dad.
You look exactly like your mother.
Yes, I know that. I was going to lead with that, but I figured that you were going to bring that up.
You and your mother are twins. I don't know genetically or like biologically how that happened, but somehow
we look exactly the same.
There was one egg and it split, and then the one egg went inside the other egg, and the outer egg grew into your mother, and you were waiting.
Right.
And then you got double, I don't know, impregnated, what? Is there a word for when the sperm goes into the egg? Just,
Probably.
It's like impregnated isn't right. Anyway, that's what happened. That's how you became your
when the
mother's
sperm goes
twin.
up and gets the egg and grows up to be strong.
It eats it, and yeah, exactly. Wait, when do we see that?
That's when Dee is giving birth.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, whose sperm went up and ate the egg?
As a like grand vision of this episode, it does strike me as interesting that Dennis and Dee are just now maybe questioning if Frank is their real father.
Because he has brown eyes, black hair, and he's 4'10".
4'10". Exactly.
It's so good. It's almost funny as a casting because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they thought do you think they were waiting 2 years? Oh, I guess it's only 1 year. Because holy crap, did Frank just get here at the beginning of the season?
10 episodes ago.
Wow. Man, it feels like a long time. It feels like he's been with us forever.
I don't know if they had the plan to make it a cuckold situation or not, but it's just funny as a concept to have Danny DeVito as the father of these two like normal sized people.
Right.
This episode is great because we get, Barbara is a great villain.
Oh, she's the best.
We got Luther, who's incredible.
Yeah.
Also in Batman Returns.
Yeah.
We get the Charlie Mac alliance, which is always fun, but it's really fun when they get stupid, like when they try to kill them or fake their own deaths and stuff. Like this has a very like really dumb Charlie and Mac subplot.
Right. If you think of the IQ pool for the entire gang,
right?
When Mac and Charlie team up, it's like the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's the most potential for disaster there, kind of. And
we get the introduction of Bruce Mathis, and we also get just a little glimpse of Bonnie Kelly. So overall, this episode is great, just based on the guest actors.
Right. And I think you're missing one important character.
Am I?
It becomes a pretty reoccurring, I don't know, Gugino's?
Oh, Gugino's. Okay, but when they did the exterior shot, it didn't look like it was Gugino's.
Well, yeah.
That's all I'm saying, but obviously once they get inside, it's Gugino's.
Also, do you think the interior of Gugino's is a restaurant? It doesn't look like a restaurant to me.
It kind of looks like a bank.
Yeah, it looks like a bank or maybe like a super nice old school hotel like lobby that they just put tables in.
There was a restaurant, it probably still exists, in Lawrence called Teller's that was in an old bank.
Oh, that's kind of hip. Hell yeah.
It looked a lot like Gugino's now that I think about it.
Do you think they filmed it there?
It's totally possible.
Do you think they go to Lawrence twice a season?
But yeah, overall, this is just such a like fast-paced. All the subplots are fun, great guest stars, and a really powerful way to end season 2.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Once again, they are just outpacing themselves. Like every episode is just great.
And so we start at the bar, and the gang, or Dee specifically, is on her very big old laptop, and she's on MySpace. And it made me really miss MySpace, kind of, actually.
Dude,
So
who was in your top 8?
Goddamn, I don't remember. I mean, you would have been in my top 8.
Oh,
had we
yeah,
been
hell
friends
yeah.
at the time.
I think it would be a contentious sort of situation with whether your wife or me were in first place.
Oh, did you, is that how you ran the metric on that? Is it the first one was number 1? It went in order?
Yeah, for sure.
Whoa. I don't remember getting that crazy with it.
Come on. If you're going to say there's a top 8 on your friends, and
Fair.
there's going to be a top 2.
I do remember an ex-girlfriend getting upset with me that I didn't have her in my top 8. Girlfriend at the time.
Ooh.
I do remember that.
Oh, you were dating at the time, and she wasn't in your top 8?
But it was like early on. You can't go. I mean, back then that would be considered, like the next step.
Right. Yeah,
you
you
get a
could
dog
have
and move
easily
in
done
together.
it too soon and had the other person freak out because things were moving too fast.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's like commitment.
Yeah,
That was like this is like a 2005 proposal.
basically.
Yeah, it's funny. Always Sunny seems like it's stuck in time, but yeah, because when I think of MySpace, I think of like the peak era of like emo and flat ironed hair and
Right.
girls' jeans and stuff.
Yeah, I used to be on MySpace a lot.
Then it became Friendster. Then it became Facebook, right?
I think Friendster and MySpace were at around the same time, weren't they?
Oh, or was Friendster first?
I think. Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, Dee's on MySpace. She's trying to. I guess they're pitching it to Mac. He comes in at like 8 a.m. with a beer, and he says computers are for losers. That's pretty awesome.
The way that Dennis describes MySpace, which I'll plop in right here, is really beautiful.
These things are actually pretty awesome. You create a profile, and then you put your picture on there, and then other people send you pictures themselves, and they want to be your friend.
Yeah. So I keep saying Bruce. I have a list.
You do keep
It's
saying
like the
Bruce.
second time I said that.
It is.
Bruce Mathis contacts Dee, says that he's her father. That's when Dennis says that it's crazy. And she's like, is it crazy? Or is Frank being our father crazy?
Right.
So this sets off the possibility, the journey into exploring whether or not Bruce Mathis is their father.
There's a whole bunch of pictures of them together.
So then they confront Frank and Barbara?
Yeah, so they decide to get Frank and Barbara together at Gugino's because they think Frank is less likely to cause a scene if they're at a nice restaurant. And Frank's outfit is also awesome in this scene.
Yeah, it seems like they were going for an underdressed thing, but also it's like not that. It's just like a hoodie and a t-shirt.
I just like that he doesn't have the hoodie all the way on.
Right,
it's
right.
like
Yeah.
halfway on.
This scene is awesome when Frank starts asking them if they're banging.
That really sets off a chain of events that ends with shouting about how they're not banging each other.
It's not perverted.
Banging your sister is perverted, Dennis.
I am not banging my sister.
Frank doesn't want any grandkids. And so Frank makes a comment about Barbara's turkey neck. Then
Which
eventually...
she doesn't have a turkey neck.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she's like smoking hot for like a 50, 60-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah. Once the topic of Bruce is broached, however, Barbara, I love her reaction. She's like,
Well, Bruce who? Bruce Mathis?
and so then like Barbara's plan is kind of laid out how she had an affair with this guy. She got pregnant, and then she decided that since Frank had money and Bruce didn't, she would trick Frank into raising these twins.
And that is when Frank goes full-on penguin, and I'm so glad that we watched Batman Returns.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty similar display of rage.
He has, I think his monologue is a little long, but he basically stands up, makes quite a scene, repeatedly calls his wife a hooer.
Hooer.
Hooer. Which I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but reminds me of a Philadelphia area accent.
I mean, that's probably why they do it, right?
Also, I don't know. Just from Batman Returns and Twins, it seems like again
That's just how he talks.
Yeah, there's a chance that's how he would say it. But yeah, so eventually he gets so worked up, walking around asking everyone if they banged his wife, and he has a stroke at the end of it.
Yeah. What is a stroke?
Ooh. Is that the one where like a small piece of something like gets dislodged from your veins and blocks your heart?
I don't know.
I think it might be a heart blockage.
Whatever it is, it doesn't really seem to slow him down too much.
Well, he does fall down.
I mean, I guess in the longer run.
And then he's on oxygen. He did say it was a small stroke.
Yeah. So when Charlie finds out that Dennis and Dee might have two dads, and he points out that he has zero dads, and then Mac joins in with that, and it's brought up that Mac does have a dad. He's just in prison.
Right.
And so he wants to now that he's seeing Dennis and Dee get a cool new dad, he wants to reconnect with his.
Yeah.
Which is the B plot.
Right. So then Mac and Charlie go visit Luther in prison, and we get introduced to Luther, who's fucking awesome.
So he has a great idea about reconnecting with his son and doing some father-son activities, I believe is what he calls it. And he wants them to put heroin in their butts and come back because he has a little business on the inside.
What do you guys know about smuggling heroin through your anus?
Yeah, I like this scene because Mac's daddy issues seem like pretty well established by this time.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw, but when when Mac is explaining his plan to reconnect with his father, which is completely innocent, Charlie's reactions, I think he does this later, but he's basically agreeing with Mac and reinforcing the story with his facial expressions. And it's hard. There's no... I guess that's it. You just have to watch it again. It's so good.
Right. So this leads to, I guess, one of my favorite parts of this episode is when they dress to show that they're hard.
They dress to impress, yeah.
They dress to impress, yeah. Specifically, Charlie's outfit is so sick.
Which it doesn't make any sense. Mac's dad asks them to smuggle heroin into the prison in their butts.
Yeah.
And then they decide that instead of doing that, they're just going to get hard and become tough and impress him that way.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
I think at one point they do say they're doing this instead of but it just doesn't really make sense.
They also do Mac shows him the balloon, like how they're going to do it.
Right. I think that's maybe after the next time.
Yeah. So I guess the thing is that they don't want to smuggle heroin. They want to just prove that they're hard. Exactly.
It doesn't really make sense to me, but I think their logic, if you go with in canon logic, and again, we're talking about the bottom 2/5 of the IQ pool.
Right.
Dressing like you're in a gang and working out a little bit more. Oh, and then the final, the peak getting hard is they're going to help Frank beat up Bruce.
Right. So they go back to Charlie's place, and Frank is there shooting a gun in the air.
Pretty sweet.
And he started a MySpace page to become friends with Bruce because I guess he wants to kill him. But I saw that someone had transcribed what his MySpace page said.
His profile's so good.
Look for action. Male, 55 years old, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Frank's profile. I'm the proud father of 2 great kids who are mine. Who I'd like to meet. This guy, Bruce Mathis. I need to talk to him. I got something for him. If you know him, let me know. Some of his likes appear to be blackjack and gambling. If it's got action, I want a piece of it. Meanwhile, his dislikes appear to mention Barbara.
I did not see that live. That is definitely a deep dive Reddit person pausing and zooming in, maybe even enhancing.
The great part of Frank's performance is how he's shooting live ammo at the top, and then I think he pulls the trigger 3 more times, once or twice at the computer, and then once at the guys, and then they're still around in the chamber, and then it finally goes off at the end.
Right. Yeah, he fires 5 times. with live bullets, 3 times blanks, and then 1 time more. It's an amazing. He must have a 10-shot revolver.
Right. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, so this is where we see him post minor stroke with his oxygen and stuff, but he seems fine. He's still spirited.
And on the other side of the Always Sunny coin is Dennis and Dee at a lupus event with Bruce because they're trying to get to know him. Oh, wait, no. I guess they meet him first, don't they?
Yeah, there wasn't anything really great in this scene, so I didn't have any notes for it. I mean, it's kind of funny when he's just talking about how amazing he is, and he did Greenpeace, and then they were like doing a water project in the Sudan, and blah, blah. You know, he's the most amazing humanitarian.
He's adopted a bunch of kids. Right. I guess when he says, like, you know, everything in my life is yours. And Dennis is like, those are some nice speakers.
He says, take them. They're yours. Yeah. He's like handing it to him.
But I do remember when those speakers were a thing. And
right. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. It's like sort of a funny, not funny joke, but they're the clear plastic speakers.
iMac. Yeah, isn't that the iMac thing where everything was like translucent?
Right. But they weren't Apple branded, like, were they?
Weren't they? I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know. But it seemed like a very popular style.
It was.
Also, the subwoofer that looked like a ghost shape. Do you remember that one?
No.
Oh, okay. So I feel like this was also the era when we started to get like into the 2.1 systems where it was like 2 little speakers and then a subwoofer to complement it.
Right.
You know that like style of system.
Of course.
So to me, that era is when it became really popular, like late 90s, early 2000s.
Right.
And there was one of these subwoofers, I think it was like down firing, so the speaker faced down into like the ground. And it was like a pyramid but smoothed over. So it looked like a ghost almost.
Huh.
You don't remember? It was like
I don't remember that.
Like organic, almost like alien. Like if you pictured, like if you showed up on a distant planet and there was some weird life form and they built like a little house, it would be this like smoothed over igloo kind of looking thing. Are you Googling it right now?
Yeah.
Sick.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah. It looks like a jellyfish.
Yeah, exactly. It's like weirdly. Is organic the right word? But it's like
Harman Kardon is the brand.
Oh hell yeah.
Soundsticks 2.
Soundsticks.
Yeah, they do look pretty cool, I gotta say.
It's one of those things where it's like a design element. In 50 years, it's probably going to look super cool in someone's like retro-y, like totally. Mid-century modern, you know, like that vibe.
Anyway, so that was their first interaction with Bruce, and then he invites them to this lupus charity ball.
And let me just say, lupus is awesome.
Lupus is awesome.
Lupus is amazing.
Awesome.
This is more just like an aesthetically amusing scene because Dee singing I Believe the Children Are Our Future with Bruce. Oh, well, first of all, Bruce's band doing the what I'm assuming is the original song Save the Children.
So good.
Yeah. And that really like happy redhead guitar player who's having a great time.
Which I did a little digging, and apparently he was in, I don't know, Bruce's band when he was in Seventh Heaven, whoever the actor is.
Oh, interesting.
That redheaded guitarist guy was in his band on that show as well. So they must be like buds or something.
Yeah, well, he's got a gift.
And also, it seems like the band is actually playing.
They are, yeah. It seems it's like a rare TV thing where it's like they're not just lip syncing.
And I think I've seen the drummer before.
She's awesome.
Yeah. She looks like sort of Hillary Clinton, someone's mom kind of vibe. She's got like a blazer on.
Yeah, she rips. Dennis gets called up on stage. There's a really funny... The episode art for this episode, this podcast episode, is going to be a screen grab I got of all 3 of them singing that last note together. So while this is happening, Frank is the getaway driver. Charlie and Mac are the muscle, and they're going to beat the shit out of Bruce and take a picture of him to prove to Mac's dad that they're hard.
Right. It's very important to prove that they're hard.
And
you want to be hard, right? You want to be hard.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I want to be hard. I want to be so hard.
Notable in this scene is that Charlie brought glue to Huff, and it's Elmer's glue.
Right. Which,
so
again, is
non-toxic.
Is a theme.
All right, you want to have some of this glue with me?
No, put the glue away.
Have a little with me, dude.
Fine.
We just need to.
Fine.
We just need to keep an edge. We gotta stay hard, dude, because you can't do it.
This is Elmer's glue. For Christ's sakes, Charlie.
I feel like we see them doing that quite often.
And so, predictably, Mac bails en route to beat up Bruce, and Charlie is like stunned or something. He's overcome by fear, it seems like.
Yeah, it gets really
He's
awkward.
frozen. Yeah.
When they approach Bruce, they're going to like ambush him at the car. And yeah, Mac is gone. Charlie, I don't know if he doesn't realize that Mac has left. And when he gets there, you know, Bruce says, "Hey, what's up? What can I do for you?" Because he's just a super nice guy. And Charlie is, you know, dumbfounded, super awkward, deer in the headlights. So he just smiles. It's a very long, awkward conversation, or one-sided conversation.
Yeah.
And he eventually just takes a picture.
Yeah, I think Bruce is led to believe that Charlie is like mentally disabled.
Right.
And taking pictures of people and huffing glue on the street.
The photograph was supposed to be proof that they beat up Bruce.
Right.
And they would bring that back to Luther and get validation.
Right. And so then there's like a post-game meetup where Charlie and Mac, or Charlie ends up like slapping Mac around.
Yeah.
And they're like, we just got to tell Frank the truth. We got to tell him the truth. And
also, in the scene where Charlie keeps slapping Mac, I'm curious if that was planned or the extent of if he was supposed to slap him all 3 times.
Right.
But at the very end, I think they both lose it. Or
Definitely. They must have had trouble with that because it seems like that's the best they got.
Yeah, I think the third time Charlie slaps Mac, he's like about to lose it and then grabs the bag of glue and starts huffing.
Right,
and then they cut to Charlie, and I think just his reaction is just like 1 second. And if they left it longer, you see Charlie like kind of start to crack a smile and lose it. It's
right.
And that's kind of my favorite parts. I guess it's like watching Saturday Night Live, anything with Jimmy Fallon. It's like the skit doesn't matter, but when you see him start laughing because he's not good at keeping a straight face, it's kind of funny.
Right.
So they decide to lie to Frank after saying we got to tell him the truth.
Right.
So so they
drive,
jump in the car,
go. It's a real. I mean, Frank does take forever to start driving, but it's a good clean getaway. Hey guys, just a quick note to say thank you so much for listening to our podcast. And if you like us, you should subscribe. And if you really like us, you should give us a 5-star rating. That will really help us as far as being discovered by other fans of Always Sunny.
And if you'd like to keep up to date with us on Twitter, you can find us at Always Stockholm.
What happens next? Is this when the Reynolds family goes to the hospital?
Yeah. Which is a good scene. I just didn't have anything really written down about it, but it's basically
it's the Reynolds being shitheads.
Yeah, it's the like turnaround that we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
It's Dee and Dennis talking about how great Bruce is and convincing their mother to give him a second chance. And she's begrudgingly coming along saying, all right, fine, I'll meet him, blah, blah, blah. And they're at a hospital. And this is when Bruce admits, I guess Barbara mentions how good he looks. And she's impressed. And you can see her like, kind of turning around. And she says that
I would have thought living in poverty for a quarter of a century would have taken its toll.
But he, explains how his father passed away and left him a bunch of money. And eventually, you have to decide it's okay to spend some on you instead of giving it all away. Yeah. So she hears that and gets real excited. So now Barbara's on board. He's handsome and rich.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a Patch Adams situation where they're putting on clown noses to cheer up the children in the hospital. And Barbara steals medication, which I think is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And they start complaining about the temperature, and it's funny to see the Dennis and Dee with their mom and how they really do act similar.
Yeah. Yeah, they adapt more so to her than Frank's new like super degenerate. Well, I guess they do schemes and things. But Frank is more like hanging with Charlie in the sewer, and Dee and Dennis aren't into that.
Right.
They are a little more snobby and high class from their mother.
Right.
Yeah, so they just act super shitty and selfish, which is their nature. and realize that they don't want to be in a children's ward of a hospital. And Bruce becomes really disappointed with them and asks for their noses back. I think at this point we just have to see Mac and Charlie and Frank, right? I guess Luther's disappointed in them. So they kind of want to redeem themselves, and they're like, all right, if you just help us out with this one little thing, which is literally just they just ask for a suggestion of how to get, their friend's father and find him and beat him up. But
Right.
if he does them this favor of helping them out, Charlie says they'll come back with their butts filled.
We will come back with our butts filled. Oh, so filled. So filled for you.
God, it's such a good line.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's really the only thing. But it's just kind of a continuation of them trying to get hard and not
Right.
filling their butts.
Right. At this point, Frank is feeling like $100.
Yeah.
Specifically $100. Bruce maybe got his ass kicked. He found this broad on MySpace that he had a one-night stand with 30 years ago, and
So I contacted that woman on MySpace who claimed that we had a one-night stand. Turns out she's single and ready to go.
so the date comes to the door. Charlie answers the door. It's Bonnie, his mother, and there's a real funny, like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Type scene.
Do you live here?
Yeah.
She doesn't even know where he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all unfolding very, very slowly for Charlie. Wait, do you think if you didn't know about the series, it would unfold slowly for you as well? Or is it super obvious to any watcher?
That he's talking about Bonnie Kelly?
Well, yeah, that he's talking about Bonnie Kelly, and the implication is that Charlie is Frank's son.
I mean, I think I would have figured that out when Bonnie came to the door. But
Right.
up until then, I wouldn't have thought that it would be. So yeah, then there's like a great Charlie's head is swimming. If you had a one-night stand 30 years ago.
And I don't know who my father is.
Yeah. So the mystery of Frank being Charlie's father, still inconclusive.
The seed is planted in this episode,
Yeah.
which becomes it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
How good?
Yeah. It's a good way to end the season.
Right,
Even though
it's-
they don't start season 3 with yes, he is or no, he isn't.
Well, but it doesn't make this any less of a cliffhanger or
No.
any worse of a cliffhanger.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying
Good. Don't disagree.
generally cliffhangers are resolved, in a timely fashion. This is a decade on
Right.
plus, and we still don't know, even with all the blood tests.
Well, the results are inconclusive. There's a lot of different blood in that bucket.
Yeah. What did you think about this season, Will?
I mean, it was fucking killer. It was so good.
Yeah, light years better than season 1, and it's still got a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, but just seeing the early, it's just, I don't know. It's like looking at, I don't know, if I had kids and I was looking at photos of when they were young.
Totally.
I assume that's what it would feel like.
Yeah.
You see how good it is at the time and or how good it was, and you appreciate that, but you also know what happens in the future. So
Right.
it makes those memories all the more special.
So Stephen Collins makes one other appearance on this show.
Remind our listeners who Stephen Collins is.
Stephen Collins is Bruce Mathis.
Whoa, somebody did it.
I almost did it. I stopped myself before I did it.
Just edit all of those out.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Bruce Mathis.
Bruce Mathis.
You can just put that one in every time I say it, okay?
Bruce Mathis.
Bruce Mathis. Wait, I'll do a few.
God, I should do
Bruce
that. That'd
Mathis.
be fun.
Bruce Mathis. Bruce Mathis. Bruce Mathis.
Bruce
Mathis?
So Stephen Collins / Bruce Mathis makes one more appearance in the series.
Wait, he's just in one episode?
No,
What?
he's in 2.
No,
I'm saying he makes one more appearance.
Oh, I thought he was like a very regular character at some point. I thought he came in and out a bunch.
Bro.
I feel like I know him so well. That's
No,
crazy.
he was in 2 episodes. He was in this episode, and he was in the episode where, spoiler alert, I'm going to give the listeners a bit of time to turn it off or turn it up. Barbara dies and leaves the house to Dennis and all of her money to Bruce. So Dee hatches a plan to get some money back from Bruce by marrying Frank.
Right.
And he's the officiant at the wedding, and he's in that episode. But
that's the only time we see him after this?
Yeah, which is way before he got canceled.
Okay. Well, I would assume that. But for some reason, I don't know. He just seems, when I saw him, I was like, oh, and there's Bruce. Great.
Maybe they got the vibe that something was off with him.
Maybe. I guess I'm not upset that I don't see him more often, both because I associate him with religion and because he's a child molester.
I saw that he, like when those allegations came out, they took Seventh Heaven out of syndication.
Oh, right.
So that just fucked over so many people probably. Is there some source of income for a lot of those actors? That would be unfortunate. But my wife, knows of Seventh Heaven. Like it was on syndication here.
Right.
Which is kind of surprising to me, but
I was going to say, that being taken out of syndication is probably a huge blow for Jessica Biel.
Well, I would say everyone except her, because she's actually done stuff outside of it.
Did you know that Jessica Biel is married to Justin Timberlake?
I did.
I looked that up, and I thought that was wild.
Yeah, I think I forget how it went down, but didn't she do some sexy photo shoot with some magazine and they took her off the show?
I can neither confirm nor deny, but it sounds perfectly plausible.
Stand by. I'm just going to Google it real quick.
Right now, Nate is Googling Jessica Biel sexy photos.
She started work on Seventh Heaven at just 14 years old and was ready to move on to projects she found more challenging. Of course, rumor also has it that Biel wanted to get herself fired instead of leaving the show, which is where a racy photo shoot with Gear magazine came in.
Ooh, Gear magazine. What kind of gear do you think they feature in Gear magazine?
Yeah, right. I guess that's smart, but apparently she was 17. Oh,
well,
I
guess it's inappropriate, but is there anything illegal about doing a sexy photo shoot?
I don't know.
At 17? Weird.
Well, anyways, yeah, so she left the show.
I guess I should say there's definitely not, because there's super creepy things like beauty pageants.
Yeah, which we'll get to.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Is there anything else you want to talk
about? More people are being suspended from Twitter, like Marjorie something, one of our Congress people. And
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, that's the one.
The Q congressperson?
Yeah. I think she got a temporary 12-hour suspension.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if Boebert did, but those two are pretty wild.
They're so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy how stupid they are.
And there were some good videos of Green being super racist. I don't know if she was talking about Hispanic or black. She's like, yeah, black kids, they join gangs. So they can't get ahead because they just join gangs. That's the problem.
Where is she from?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm assuming somewhere where they don't have gangs.
Right.
I think that I read that. Let me see if I can get this straight. Trump is currently being fitted for a Joe Biden suit. So he's not going to be attending the inauguration because he's going to be sworn in as the next president. Biden is either dead or in prison. Right. Melania is in Mar-a-Lago prison because they just built a new prison. There were renovations down there.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, because she was in on the 25th Amendment, which...
Okay, right.
I'm pretty sure she's one of the key components. The First Lady has the deciding vote on the 25th. I'm sure.
I think that's right. I think it's in the Constitution.
Yeah, the Constitution, I think, says that she has the final say. So she's in prison there. Joe Biden is a reptoid demon, and that's why we're going to be able to confirm that Trump is in the Joe Biden suit, because when he puts his hand on a Bible, we know it's Trump, because Joe Biden couldn't do that because the demon can't put his hand on a Bible.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Or it'll sizzle or something probably.
Yeah. So there's that. And I think, I forget how there's 5D chess going on, but
yeah,
Hawley and Cruz, I don't know if they're enemies now because they're going to not support Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were true patriots, they would be supporting Biden because it's Trump.
God. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
It's a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah, so I think that the GOP is now not cool. Like Trump realized that the GOP wasn't like backing him properly.
Right.
So it's a whole thing.
Aside from all of this, what is going to happen to QAnon people's brains if everything goes as planned and Joe Biden is inaugurated? Like, are people going to continue thinking this storm is still coming, or is it just going to die? It probably won't die.
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's like brutal but fascinating. Like, what happens? Where does Trump go? Does he have an outlet? Does he fade away? Which I don't think he would like to do. I think he would like to keep, whipping people into a frenzy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like, are there more skirmishes? Are there more, like, minor civil wars? Are state capitals, like, going to be invaded?
I saw that they were going to vet all of the, like, National Guard troops there for the inauguration because there's, like, a serious threat of inside collusion.
Well,
it's hard to believe that all this is actually happening.
Yeah, it's. I think it's pretty crazy because if you think about it, Trump is currently the president, so he is the commander in chief. He is the highest ranking military officer or whatever, and so in theory, if he says you have to do this, the military, everyone under him in the military, which is everyone, has to kind of do what he said. So there are people who probably would be like, well, this is protocol, so I have to do it. And there are probably a lot of people in the military who think that he is right. Not only is it their job, and they're sworn whatever, but they also think he's right to do it. Yeah. So it's not like a far-fetched, outlandish thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would be. Yeah. I mean, it would make me nervous without reading the story about them having to vet people. But for whatever reason, that hit me as being like, yeah, this is a really insane time, and no one knows what's going to happen.
I'm guessing when some crazy coup, like actual coup overthrow, happens, there are people in the country who are like, well, this will never happen.
Right.
And are completely unaware, and they just assume nothing. And then there are other people who are genuinely worried and sounding the alarm.
Right.
And you never, I don't know, 9 times out of 10, probably nothing happens, and it kind of chugs along. But the one time out of 10, those crazy people were right. There's a lot of interesting analogies when people are quoting, like, sort of the historical lead up to whatever, like 1940 Germany, like in the 20s and 30s, like what happened to Adolf Hitler and how he like went to prison, wrote Mein Kampf, and then came out and then grew as a smaller party. And like, he didn't really have to do it in a certain way. He just got enough power that I think he actually lost the election right before he came into power, but the winner put him in because I guess his party, like he wasn't like I don't know how their political system works, but there's like a president who wins, but then the like sort of Congress elects like the prime minister, which is different. Okay. So I think like they were like, fine, we'll just let him be prime minister and it's not a big deal, but we still have power. And then he immediately like changed everything.
Right. They didn't nip it in the bud. Any of the multiple opportunities they had to.
Right. Yeah, they kind of kept their guard down and were like, well, it's not that out of control. He's not that serious of a threat. So they're like, or maybe they were like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Right.
They used that theory and kept him close, and it was like, whew, too close. Not that it fully relates to Trump and right now, but it's just the theory kind of like how out of control things can get and how you might not expect it. All right, what else? Should we leave? Should we go?
Let's leave.
Thank you for... Oh, wait, did I have... If maybe I can summon the voice from the intro.
You got it.
Oh, it was like a creepy wedding ceremony?
And thus concludes the final episode of Season 2. For it is always Stockholm in Los Angeles. We thank you for your love and admiration. It gives us faith and hope to continue our journey.
Was that great?
Beautiful. I loved it. Yeah, that was great.